Really, I'm honored to be here. My name is Hila, and I am the Community Shlicah here in Westchester. I came here 9 months ago together with my family, my husband Nir, who is here, and our 3 kids, Dvir, Be'eri, and Kama. And actually, we are very grateful for the Kol Ami community because Kama, which you saw here, our younger daughter, is here at Kol Ami in the preschool, and she is so happy here. And I have to tell you that when we came here 9 months ago, she and all of our kids didn't know even one word in English. And after a month, we tried to teach them the name of the street where we live. We live 5 minutes from here in Albemarle. So I came to Kama and I told her, where do we live? We live in A, and then instead of completing the word Albemarle, which is hard for Israelis, she said Amazon. Meaning, after a month, she knew exactly where she is, and that was the moment that I know that we will be fine. And turned out that 9 months later, she speaks English much better than me, with an American accent. She corrects my accent, and you still have to suffer my very heavy Israeli accent tonight, so just saying that. I wanna say that today is the 43rd day to the counting of the Omer, 4 weeks and 6 days. And back in the kibbutz where we live in Israel, there is a yearly tradition that celebrates the beginning of the counting of the Omer. It's called Chag Omer, the celebration of the Omer. And it's actually one of the most beautiful traditions that we have in our kibbutz. So at the beginning of the counting, in Passover, there is a tradition when the kids, the kids that are about to turn first grade are hidden inside the wheat and inside the barley, which is at the beginning of Passover is tall and green. And there is a ceremony. Everyone comes and sits in the field, and there is a ceremony where the music played a specific song every year, and the kids that are about to turn first grade jump out of the shibolim, of the wheat, and start dancing together, and everyone acts as if it's a surprise, and they sit there inside for like hours until all the crowd is coming. And this is what marks in our kibbutz the beginning of the counting of the Omer. And just that you will see that I'm not making this up, I brought a picture. So this is Dvir, when Dvir, say hi. This is Dvir. Before she turned, she was in first grade in Israel, and this is the rehearsal. So you see, they come out of the shibolim. Barry, I don't want you to be jealous, so I also brought a picture of you. He's also inside the shibolim. And then, instead of bringing the first harvest to the temple, we bring it to the dining hall. So here you see the first harvest of the barley is brought by the kids to the dining hall of our kibbutz. And this is a beautiful, beautiful tradition. And then, 7 weeks later exactly, we come to the very same field, and we mark Chag Shavuot, the harvest of the wheat. And at that point, the wheat is already totally yellow, and it's ready to harvest. And then we celebrate. The elderly of the kibbutz do the first harvest, and the kids are running around in a maze of wheat before the tractor comes and cut all of it. And this is how it looks like, a huge tractor made of hay that the kids climb up. And this is Kama from last year in Israel during Shavuot, okay, collecting the wheat. So this is our tradition of how we count the Omer, how we doing the Sfira. And I can't concentrate and speak English at the same time. It's just not possible. Okay, so I want to say the Hebrew word Sfira, it's a little bit of Dvar Torah, okay? So the Hebrew word Sfira, to count, it comes from the main root of the word Sipur, to tell a story. the fact that we are counting is something that we are telling some kind of a story. The way we count, the reason that we count, it's supposed to say something about us. And the counting of the Omer is deeply tied to our agricultural reality and to the land of Israel. And the Torah says we begin to count mehachel chermesh bakama, from the time the sickle is first put to the standing grain. Kama, in Hebrew, kama, the name of our daughter, is a tall wheat before the harvest. And the barley is ripened before the wheat. Did you know that? That the barley is ripened before the wheat? So when we celebrate the beginning of the Omer in Israel, we actually celebrate the harvest of the barley. But then we count 7 weeks, 49 days, and we reach Shavuot. And it's another beginning, right? We mark in Shavuot the beginning of the harvest of the wheat. So if you think about it, this agricultural counting from the barley to the wheat is kind of marking a journey between two beginnings, the beginning of the harvest of the barley to the beginning of the harvest of the wheat. But it's not only an agricultural journey, because in my kibbutz, which is a very secular community, the Omer is viewed almost only in the agricultural aspect. But we know that our sages understood this time as the spiritual journey, right? One that brings the people of Israel from the exodus of Egypt, which is the first birth, the physical birth, okay, the liberation from the mentality of slaves, to the Shavuot, to Matan Torah, to receiving the Torah, which considered to be the spiritual birth of the people of Israel. And the time when they receive responsibility. And this period of time when they wander in the desert, this is the time when they are getting ready to inherit a land, which is a huge responsibility. So this is a journey of elevation, of climbing up, right? From the barley, which usually what the animals eat, to the wheat, the food of the people. From the physical birth, exodus of Egypt, to Matan Torah, the spiritual birth of the Jewish people. These are two processes of elevation, of climbing up. And then there is another counting that happening and actually finished to happen in our days. And I'm talking about the counting between the national days of Israel. We just now marked a journey between 3 days. You call it here the Yoms. By the way, I never heard this expression in Israel, the Yoms. But these Yoms, Yom HaShoah, Yom HaZikaron, Yom HaAtzmaut, Independence Day, they are also a journey. They are a journey of elevation from a period of time when we were slaves in Egypt. We weren't responsible to our own destiny. To a time where slowly we are making an effort to be people that are inherit a land. And in that way, this declaration of independence that we just celebrated is Matan Torah, is receiving the Torah for the people of Israel. And here in Westchester, last week for the first time I did this connection, and maybe it's because it wasn't so intuitive for me here, the counting of the Omer in the kibbutz. It just happened. I see the wheat. My kids go up and measure it every day to see how much it grows. But here I need to think about it. And suddenly this connection came, like two processes that come together at the very same time. And then something really weird happened to me last week, and I have to share it with you. So last week was Mother's Day. And in Israel, no one take it as a date. I know it's like International Mother's Day, but I never celebrated Mother's Day in Israel. And here I couldn't escape from the date. Everyone came and told me, Happy Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day. And I kind of brushed it out and didn't think about it. I even sat in a coffee shop and someone gave me a teddy bear and flowers, which was very nice. And then, on Mother's Day, I came to the office the day after Mother's Day. It was Monday. And it was the very same day, this Monday, where hostage Idan Alexander was released from captivity. And it suddenly made me think about Mother's Day and about all these mothers in Israel. And I heard the speech of Yael, mother of Idan Alexander, and she described Idan release as a rebirth. She just said it. I felt that I was reborn again, and he is reborn again. And then, I don't know if you saw, but in Israel newspapers and in everywhere, you saw another mother, Einav Zangauker, the mother of the hostage Matan. And she, without her will, became over time a symbol for like the most Israeli woman with her bright eyes and her loud voice, a lioness that fighting for the life of her son. And these two pictures of these two mothers keep jumping to me on Mother's Day, and it made me think about discounting, that it's maybe not a coincidence that for the first time here in Westchester, all of this counting coming together for me. Because if you think about it, for the last year and a half, we are busy with counting, right? Everywhere we go, we see how many days of war has passed, and we count how many hostages are still there and how many hostages were released. And we also count how much time will we continue to count until the end of the war, right? So the counting became very, very present last week, especially, at least for me. And I want to say something about this counting. And I started the things I'm saying with that. To count is to tell a story. Is trying to say something about ourselves. And I think that the fact that we count all the time, every day, means something. The mothers that count, they struggle. It's a struggle. It's a struggle against the normalization of the war. And it's a struggle against forgetting. And it's a struggle to ensure, to build the kind of society and nation that we want to be. So this counting on the 588th day of the war is wandering through the harshest and most painful desert of uncertainty. There is an Israeli author, which I admire. His name is David Grossman. And he wrote something. He wrote, "One can see hope as an anchor thrown from a desperate present toward a better future that doesn't yet exist, that's built mostly from our wishes. The moment we throw the anchor, a person, and sometimes a whole society, begin to pull themselves towards it." So perhaps here lies the deepest connection between these three counts we mentioned and the story that we really want to tell ourselves. When the Israelites walked through the desert, they were walking in uncertainty. They did not yet see that they were marching toward the giving of the Torah. They wanted to reach the promised land, and they had to pull themselves with great effort. When Herzl envisioned the Jewish state, he did not know, nor did all the pioneers at that time, that it would indeed come to be. And today, on the 588th day of the war and of the hostages still in Gaza, we found ourselves on a journey of uncertainty. We cannot yet see Matan Torah. We can't see it, and no one can promise us that this point will come into be. But also, I think that the very fact that we are counting and we are struggling and we insist to count, this in fact the effort that we are doing to pull ourselves to this anchor and to give ourselves hope. And I think that if you will ask a lot of Israelis today, a lot of them will tell you that the hope is slipping away. But I want to offer something else. I want to offer to think that the fact that we are so busy with counting and we do not give up and we vision the end of this counting is the most profound effect of hope that we see today, here and in the Israeli society. So with the prayer that by Shavuot, Matan Torah, and the harvest of the wheat, we can also say that it's the end of our modern counting today. Amen ve'amen. We will now hear the song Shibolet Basadeh, which speak exactly about this moment when the wheat is ready, full of grains, ready to harvest. Thank you.
שיבולת בשדה קוראה ברוח מעומר שקרים קרב ובמרחב הרים יום כבר יפוח השמש כתם בזהב ורוהו יורו שור בין הכפרים הממשלה כבר על פני הכרים קיצו שילחו מגל את ראשית החציר שדה שעורים תמה זרחה גותרת שפה יבורו רחה נקראת בו הקוצרים בזוהר מזהרת חרש ואומר מחכה הרו הניפו נירו לכם ניר חג לקמה את ראשית קציר קיצו שילחו מגל את ראשית החציר קיצו שילחו מגל את ראשית החציר